the burning of the flag. When bombs fell on the ships at Pearl Harbor, we lived on a quiet dead-end street in a city not far from salt water, where palm trees, palmettos, and live oaks grew side by side in meadows that stayed green through the winter months. It was a wonderful street, lined with brick houses, each with a roofed porch, closed off at the end with a cul-de-sac and a dense canebrake, on the other side of which horses grazed in a pasture. On a rainy day, on the far side of the pasture, you could see the lighted tower of a movie theater glowing against the evening sky. My best friend was Nick Hauser. If it was a time of privation, we did not think of it as such, primarily because no one in our neighborhood had money, and most considered themselves fortunate to have survived the Depression years with their families intact. Wake Island and Corregidor fell, and we heard terrible stories about the decapitation of American prisoners. But on our block, and that is all we ever called the place we lived, our block, the era was marked not so much by a distant war as it was by the presence of radios in people's windows and on their front porches, the visits to the block of the bookmobile and the popsicle man, and games of street ball and hide-and-seek on summer evenings that smelled of flowers and water sprayed from garden hoses. One night a week during the summer of 1942, the entire city was blacked out for an air raid drill. My father sat on the front porch smoking a cigarette, a white volunteer civil defense helmet cocked on his head, sometimes reading the newspaper with a flashlight. Once the drill was over, the theater tower in the distance rippled with neon, and the voices of Fred Allen and Senator Claghorn or Fibber McGee and Molly could be heard all over the neighborhood. I believe no evil could ever enter the quiet world in which we lived. But if you crossed Westheimer Street, the soft aesthetic blend of the rural South and pre-war urban America ended dramatically. On our side of Westheimer was a watermelon stand among giant live oaks, and on the other side of the street, a neighborhood of box-like utilitarian houses and unkept yards where bitterness and penury were a way of life, and personal...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?